Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. Good, good evening.
Evening. Yeah. It's
it
been a day. It's been a day,
has.
y'all.
It has been a day, but we are here
Guys,
and we are live and in living color. And so we are truly we're excited to be here.
very excited.
I think it's going to be really good. Can you do me a favor? Put it on, go to ATM and then put the preview so we can see comments. All right, everybody, we are here. Episode number 2.
Yes,
I
we
think it's
back
going
at
to be
it.
good. We back at it again, and so I think this conversation is going to be pretty good. Yep, just put it on number 3. There you go. All right. So we are excited to be here. Do me a favor as y'all come in. Please do me a favor. Just share this. We want to share this. I think it's going to be a good conversation tonight, and I think it's going to be pretty good.
Yes,
We made it to the house again. We made it to this place, to
yes.
the studio.
We're here.
So we're
And
here,
we welcome y'all.
and we are excited to be in the room to have a conversation. And so, if y'all ready to talk tonight, let us know that you're ready. If you can see us really good, let us know. If you can hear us really good, let us know. Because we want to make sure that we are heard and that we are not just talking to ourselves,
Right.
but we want to make sure everybody can hear us and
Exactly.
that we're good in this room.
Yes.
And I'm excited about it. I'm excited. So this is going to be a good conversation. We're going to really talk tonight. Um, and if you paid attention to the the post today, you realize we're going to be having a conversation on purpose, and it's going to be a really good conversation. And
I
I think it's
agree.
going to really bless many individuals. So if you can do me a favor, make sure that you share this. And Leah, I think tonight it's going to be a good introduction to what 3D really is about
Yes. And a better understanding.
and a better understanding. And it's going to really be something really beneficial. Beneficial because that's what we want. We want this conversation,
Mm-hmm.
the 3D podcast, to be that because the 3D podcast is about helping individuals to discover is, a lot of us, you know, individuals, we just go through life and not really understand the significance of having purpose and
Exactly.
moving into that. So I think the 3D perspective is going to help individuals like you
Mm-hmm.
really grasp this concept of how to live your life because we want you to see life from the right perspective.
Mm-hmm.
We want you to see life from the right perspective. So that's what our goal is to help you see life from the right perspective. So
Yes.
we're gonna kick this off tonight. And do me a favor as you come in, um, let us know that you're watching. Let us know who you are. Put it in the comments so we can see it, and it's going to be real helpful. We have my wonderful confidant daughter, yeah, in ministry. Maya is helping us, so we're gonna really get this going. Y'all
Shout
meet her
out to
later.
Maya.
Y'all meet her later. But this is gonna be really a blessing. Thank you. And so this is gonna be good. All
Yes.
right. So this is funny, y'all. I think this is I say it's funny because um this is mental health awareness month, right?
Yes.
And I was really just trying to figure out what focus to really dive into because there's so much to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole lot of conversation that we can have around so much. And I thought about some stuff. And the thing I thought about was if this is mental health awareness month, right? I had to do some research about it. And I found out that, in the mental health awareness month, this
Mm-hmm.
is a very pivotal time because mental health has really been predominantly echoing in the world.
Mm-hmm. Big time.
And so I did some research and I found out something. According to 2020 study, all right, the pandemic time, published in the journal Frontiers in Psychology. Individuals who report a low sense of purpose in life were significantly more likely to experience symptoms of depression, anxiety, psychological distress.
Wow.
That right there, I was like, wow.
Jeez.
Like people that are dealing with mental issues,
Yeah.
some of them is stemming because they don't understand purpose.
That.
They don't have an understanding or reasoning to live.
And I honestly, and just to add on to that, I feel like a lot of people have like big time self doubt.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many qualities and attributes that people
You got to hit camera one.
have, and they
There you go.
are just like they feel like they got to sell themselves short because they don't understand purpose for one, and they don't understand their overall end goal of being here.
Yeah, they don't understand that. You can switch it to that on the put it on the stage. Yeah.
And
yeah.
I feel like that's what that
I'll
really
put two. There you go.
That's what really leads to like depression and you know negative thinking and all of that stuff.
Yeah, it does. It has a greater influence on how people's well-being is. I didn't know. I mean, I understood it from a spiritual perspective, right? But I didn't understand the dynamics of how deep that was until I did some more research and realized like a lot of the issues that we have mentally is because some of the problems we have is that people don't understand the reason for their existence. And I mean, you can go on and on and on in life and not know who you are. And that becomes a big strain. So that's what our conversation is going to be about tonight.
Yeah.
Because I think it's so important, especially in the time of the mental health awareness, that we should talk about purpose.
Oh, for sure.
Because I believe that it's not going to answer all the problems, but it's going to answer some problems.
Yes.
That if you grasp the understanding of existence and the reason why you're here, you will begin to really move forward
it sets the tone.
in life. Yeah.
It sets the tone.
It does. It does. And I think that's going to really be beneficial and it's going to be helpful to really see people understand that part of their life and their journey, you know, in this type of world. So this is what we're going to talk about. I'm going to kick some things off. Miss Aaliyah is going to help really talk to all of us in this season. So as we dive into this, please make sure that you can share this. If this is coming out good, make sure it's good. Do me a favor, check it on. Make sure the quality is good. Yeah, awesome. So I think it's going to be good.
Yeah.
It's going to be good. So I got a definition for everybody. If you're listening and you can hear me good, I got a definition for you. Okay. So purpose, I'm going to talk about what is purpose. All right. Purpose is the original intent of God for your life. It's why you were created. It is what you were created to do. And it's who you were created to become. I think that's very good. It's why you're created.
Right.
It is what you're created for and who you created to become.
Right.
That purpose is the reason for your existence. It is the reason why we all exist. It is the reason why we breathe.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a big part of the journey of understanding that purpose is the why. And that's the question that everybody in this world struggle with, is the why. It's the why. And so purpose is the original intent of God for your life. It is the original reason. It is the reason why God created us and designed us and orchestrate us and formulated us. Then that's good.
That's very good.
I think that's very important. And so that means that if we're going to live life the way we're living it, we got to live life from the perspective of God. So when we think about purpose is divine. And that means that when we talk about that word divine, right, it sounds like real deep, but divine is just a greater way of saying it is God's purpose. It is God's reason. It's divine. It comes from him. Right. It's divine. It comes from him. It's internal, meaning that purpose is something that God put in all of us.
Absolutely.
We're going to talk about that. So it's divine. God gave it to us. It's eternal. It's placed in all of us.
Mm-hmm.
It's also directional.
Right.
That's good.
That's very good.
It's directional, because directional, that tells us that when you understand purpose, it helps you order your steps in life. Do y'all hear that?
That's
It
good.
helps you
That's
order
good.
your steps
That's good.
in life, and what direction you're going to go, who you connect with, all of those things. And that's a big part of your existence.
Yep.
But it's also, and this is what we want to really build tonight, it's a part of your identity.
Absolutely.
It is a part of your identity. It's the reason. It's your makeup. It's your design. And so this is really, really key. And as we're having this conversation, I really want all of us to really wrap our mind around that thought, that you can't live without this. You can't. Like, you cannot live without purpose.
No, you can't.
You can't live without it. So I got a point. And then we're gonna piggyback and have a conversation about this. It's good. Okay. So here's the first point. If you're listening and you're watching this, I want you to put this in the comments. Okay. Here's the first point. You were designed with a purpose. Okay. So you're designed with a purpose. I wrote a book, and the book is called Born for the Time. I wrote it, the original version of it. I wrote it in 2021 and 2022.
Okay.
Was wrapping around helping people understand that we're born for a time. Like God, when he makes us for a specific time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a quote I put in my book. I'm going to have this. You are a gift to the world. When God sends something into the world, it must fulfill the task that God has assigned. So that means that as a person that God has designed with a purpose, we are an initial gift to the world.
Right.
So God gave us to this world, designed us for a specific assignment for him, most importantly. But a part of that is he assigned us to do some things in this world. So I really want to talk about that. I really want to dive into that, because I think that when we think about, like, you're designed with a purpose, a lot of people don't think that they're designed with that.
No. And it's kind of sad, when you think about it, because
it is.
I feel like if you don't really understand that and can't really grasp that concept, you really sell yourself short.
Yeah, you do.
Like, big time.
Yeah.
So always thinking, like, how can your purpose evolve God's kingdom? Like, that's the biggest thing. How are you going to come into this world and help other people? Like, at the end of the day, yes, it's your purpose, but it's also bigger than that, because your purpose is supposed to help other people.
That's good.
So that's the way that I look at it.
Yeah. I think that that's a pretty good thing, that God has innately designed us. And I think that you said something like purpose. I believe, I want to reiterate. I think you said purpose is God
helps evolve God's kingdom.
There you go. Help evolve God's kingdom. That's good. That's a good one there. That's a quote, y'all. She don't put a quote out here.
Y'all want shirts with that on it? Come holler at me.
Right. Yeah, that is a really good quote. Your purpose is to help evolve God's kingdom, which is true, that it is designed to evolve God's kingdom, and it was made to evolve God's kingdom. So I think that the thing that we got to know, that if we're breathing, that lets us know that our life was meant to evolve his kingdom, his ways. Now, I know our conversation, people that are watching us, we are believers, right? Yeah. We are believers. I pastor and things like that. But I think that concept, if people, I would say, that are not believers yet, grasp that. They grasp a concept of it, but they don't grasp the totality of it. But if the believers grasp that,
right,
we will be a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, for sure. And I feel like that's our job too, to just help, like, of course, not force it, but just help them better understand it.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely, and then over time, them just looking at you and how you live your life, that's a reflection.
Yeah. It is. It is very much a reflection. It is very big as it
Mhm.
relates to that type of reflection that God has literally designed us, orchestrated us with purpose. Here's the thing that I want to say, because this is what gets a lot of us messed up. Here it is. Purpose doesn't begin with a platform. It begins with your design.
Mhm.
It doesn't begin with a platform. That purpose, like for real, like a lot of people think that they're not significant until they have arrived, or they got the
Mhm.
degree, or they got the,
Yep.
the fame, the fortune. That
Yes.
there is no significant or value. But value is not tied to the platform. When you understand the value of who you are and the
Mhm.
purpose that is in you,
Yep.
that's your, when you understand that value,
Yes.
that's what makes your platform. That's
Yes.
what push you to that place. That's what God says, okay, now I'm going to allow your life to influence. But a lot of us, we're looking for the platform or the level of followers now,
Right.
on
That's
TikTok, how many
yep.
people that likes and shares.
Uh-huh.
But fail to realize, like, hold up, like you can have as many likes and shares all day, but what sustains the value of that is
Right.
understanding who you are,
Absolutely.
understanding why you are here.
100%.
And I think that's a challenge that we got in this culture, that we miss those things and we miss that perspective because we're waiting for, that opportunity to finally come out.
Yeah. I feel like, especially like I'm a millennial, so like especially like you're a millennial too, right?
Mhm.
Technically, yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yep, I am.
Like I feel like we just well, a lot of people our age just don't really grasp that.
No,
They don't.
no, they don't grasp it because that's a challenge. Where we're taught that success is going to school, get
Mm-hmm.
good grades, go to college, getting a good job, getting married, having kids,
Yep.
being a community advocate in some ways. We're taught that is what defines who we are.
Yeah.
And so we live all of our lives struggling, trying to identify that part of us,
Yeah.
when God is really just saying to us, just embrace us, embrace who you are in me, embrace what I have created you to specifically be in this type of world. And I think
Yeah.
that's a great challenge that we're having.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real deep.
Ugh.
So I think this is why, even when we talk about like mental health awareness, this is what that struggle is about.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the greatest struggles that we have, is because we're trying to find or place our identity in the things that we're able to produce, and that's not
Yeah.
not the case.
And I feel like a lot of people like they're alone. They don't have anybody,
Hmm.
so they don't have, someone alongside of them to encourage them,
Hmm. Yeah.
I feel like as, Christian people, like that's why we have to like step aboard and help people in those,
Yeah.
those, just kind of get through those
Yeah.
hard times,
Exactly. Exactly.
to better understand.
Exactly. We have to really position ourselves, and I think that's so important. Do me a favor, move your mic up, so I wonder if it's there we go.
That better.
Yeah, a little better. But I think that's real key. I think it's important, when it comes to that. Um, and I think that once we get past like desiring like applause from
Mm-hmm.
people, desiring the applause. Don't get me wrong, getting somebody saying that you're doing a good job, it can be an encouragement to you.
Mm-hmm.
It can help you, but it should not be the thing that you are aiming for.
Focused on. Right.
That you're focused on, that you're putting your whole energy into.
Yeah.
And I think that once we wrap our mind around that, we will see greater success. And so here's a question I want to pose to every single one that's listening, even tonight as we're talking. What if you started living out your assignment
Mm.
and not just following? What happens if you started to identify what your purpose is?
Mm.
How much impact you will have for you, your family? Because I think that becomes a big struggle that we have, is that we are just so focused and we're thinking that our purpose is all in the world, but it's not.
No.
When you understand who you are and when you're created to be, you'll have a greater impact in the
Oh my
world,
God.
greater impact on your family.
Ugh. That's a good question.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we really have to start to, wrap our thoughts and our minds and our hearts around. We'll see change.
Oh, for sure.
We'll see
It'll come
change.
with time, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Comes with time.
It will come. It will come with time. It will come with time, and I think we want to rush stuff so bad.
Because we live in a time where we're influenced by other people's quote unquote success.
Oh, say that again. I think the mic on? Mic check 1 2 1 2.
We're influenced by other people's, and I'm saying quote unquote success, because you don't know how long it took them to get there, or you don't know like what advantages they had to get there.
Mm-hmm.
The same amount of work that you would have to put in, they necessarily may not have to put in that work.
Mm-hmm.
Or to be honest, they may have a stronger relationship with God than you do.
It's true.
So, hey,
yeah,
so it's just worry about your own self, worry about your own race. Like, don't feel like you're in competition with other people.
Mm-hmm.
Just focus on you, continue to have a strong relationship with God, do the work on the back end, understand your purpose.
Yeah.
And you'll be good.
Yeah, you will be good. I think that's the challenge. We have over 340 million people, I believe, in America. And there are what we know, Fortune 500, the S&P 500 is the top 500 companies in America. So you mean to tell me we be struggling trying to embrace things, and we see somebody else doing something, we like, oh, well, that's it. It don't matter. There are millions and other millions of people that don't know what you are doing.
I'm telling you, you don't.
And so we have to embrace that part of our journey, is knowing it is okay to be different.
It is.
It is completely okay to be unique. It's completely okay to literally walk this journey.
For sure.
We have every single one of us have our own lane. I see a comment. It should help you not to it should help you not drive you. That's good. I like that. That's a good one. And I think that's Fantasia good. I think that's so important. We have so much in this season of our life. We got to be okay with pushing and moving. Purpose helps evolves God's kingdom. Yes, that's cool. That's good. I got another point. You ready?
Yeah.
What is in you is greater than what's around you. That when you know that you're born with this purpose, you realize what's in you is greater than what's around you. Like, it's so much greater.
So much greater.
Here's a quote I got in my book. What's inside of you matters more than what's around you. Okay, so what's inside of you is so significant, and it matters more than what's around you. And the reason why that's even a thought is because we are always surrounded by distractions.
Always.
I mean, like just be honest. Let's just be honest, y'all. Okay, you gonna go through pain in life. You gonna have times somebody gonna make you upset. Somebody's gonna frustrate you. Somebody is gonna irritate you. Somebody not just gonna tell you, I flat out don't like you. They're gonna want to fight you. You're never gonna go through life without being tempted by something. So that means that if that becomes an issue in your life, that means your focus is on everything else except what you are designed to do. That what's in you is far greater than what's around you.
That's good.
I think that's some bars.
Yeah.
See, I'm on this journey, y'all. I'm trying to rap. And
let me not kick your head too much.
I've been trying to rap for a long time. And sometimes these bars just flow out of me. I'm telling you, I'm gonna get that record label, that deal, that platinum.
I'll root for you.
Going to get it. You root for me.
I root for you.
All right. When I get up there, I need them shirts.
Have me design all the covers.
Okay, I got you. I get you. I'll put you on. Okay, all right. We gonna do this. But yeah, we have to be really honest about that. Like, we do struggle with distractions. Like, we struggle with it, and it's it's so easy because distraction don't always come like evil, like, or noticeable. Let's use that word
Yes.
better. That's a better word. They're not always noticeable, and I think this is just a season like when we understand that these distractions come,
Mm-hmm.
we cannot be so focused on that. There's a story in the Bible. What story I'm thinking of?
Tell me.
Peter walking on water. And while he was walking, there was a storm going. And he started focusing on the storm. When he asked God, Jesus to bid me to come, he
Yeah.
comes out on the water, he walking, and then he started occupying his focus on the storm. And that began to cause him to sink. I think that becomes the greatest hindrance in our life. Because here's this: some of the storms in our lives and situations that happen in our life, when they come and they show up, they pull the focus out of us.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes those storms don't always look like a raging wind
Right.
or waves.
Right.
Some of that could be stuff that we enjoy.
Yep.
So we got to understand that what's in us is so far greater than what's around us. So here's the thing: some of us, our jobs it could be a distraction. Our jobs pull the value out of us if we let it. And that's some real stuff right there.
That is real. Because they're gonna put you in a pickle, because you're like, hey, I gotta go to work, I gotta get money, I gotta survive, but in the same sense, it's like balance.
Yeah.
Balance is a key piece to it.
Yeah, balance is a key piece. And this is what we tend to, we focus our mindset on things are outwardly, and if we get in a relationship, you feel like everybody gotta know what you're doing. And I mean, there's so many different distractions that are coming. But here's a quote I got: nothing external can validate what only God can confirm internally. Nothing external can validate what only God can confirm internally. Meaning that nothing on the outside of our lives can validate what only God can do when it comes to confirming us on the inside. And that's because when we know who we are, we look for our jobs to validate us, our relationships to validate us, our money to validate us. And God said, listen, all you just need is understanding who I've designed for you to be. Yeah. That validate us.
It's that easy.
It is.
People make it so complex.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's the reason why it's so complex is because everything outside of this world, right, is appealing to us. I mean, outside of it's just appealing. Yeah. So it's complex because we desire to have that. Right. We desire to have that. Those Instagram and those TikTok videos and of relationships. Oh, I read comments. Don't get me wrong, some stuff be nice, but I read the comments. Oh, I just desire to be my relationship to be like y'all. Or I desire to have this and that. And I'm like, well,
not knowing what's really going on.
Exactly, not knowing. Not knowing what's going on. And it's because that's what our focus has always been, is that if it's appealing to us, we're still living in the Genesis 3. We're looking at the fruit and we're desiring the fruit and we're eating the fruit. And I say, leave that stuff alone. Because you know who you are. You ain't gonna be tempted to eat something that will pull you away from who you are.
Exactly. And personally, like, I struggle with like distractions, like, and I, of course, see God, like, learn how to pray when you're going through things that you recognize. That's the biggest thing. Yeah. And like going to God, like, God, help me, minimize these distractions. Help me decrease this procrastination. Like, that goes so far.
Yep. It does. It goes so far. And I think that's a thing that we have to just really understand. It's because we're not there yet. I mean, we're looking for so many things in this world to tell us what we should be doing. We look for all of these things, and you're like, hold up. Yeah. If you really understand like who I am, I'm the one designing you. You got an apple. Apple phone, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need one too.
No, I'm holy. I'm good.
I'm only too. What you talking about?
I'm good. Listen. I stay on. You know what the A stand for?
The A in Apple.
Wow, no.
What you mean with the A stand?
Yeah, the A in Apple stands for none.
We'll talk about that
Yeah,
later.
we talk about.
You know what? It's better left unknown. I think.
Yeah, we're gonna leave that one because the A draw. You know, it is.
You got an A in your. Okay,
I know. But you notice yours though. Your logo, the apple was bitten.
Oh, see, dog, we ain't gonna do that.
So, but you notice though, when you have a phone,
yeah,
that if you have an issue with your phone, who do you call? If it's an internal issue, you call the manufacturer.
right.
And if you have problems, you call the manufacturer. You know, if you need to pay your bill or whatever, you're calling the company.
Mm-hmm.
And that becomes the challenge that we have, is because we're leaning on other people to fix us than the manufacturer. Did you notice that? Well, if you, I don't, my grandfather, he had a car shop. He fixed on cars. He worked on cars, and he can fix anything. I learned how to do a lot of the things I know how to do with the cars because my grandfather taught me. But I noticed that like 2010s going into 2010 vehicles, 2011, 13, as they continue to make them, they're a lot harder to fix. You know why? It's because the dealer, that if you have an issue with the car, they want you to go to the dealer.
Got you.
The one that either, the dealer that sold you the car that is certified to work it, because they know there's some of the things they're putting into these cars. Any mechanic can't fix it. And that's the problem that we're doing. We keep going to everything else. Yep. We're going to everything else to fix us. The 10 steps to be a millionaire. We getting all of these books.
Yep.
But like you said, that time with God.
They'll go to AI before they go to God.
Yep.
For real.
Yeah, you're right.
ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Like ChatGPT in that Bible.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
For real.
That's true. That's true. That's real.
It is so real.
That is real.
That is the day, like the time we are living in.
That's the time we're living in.
Physical Bible, just like you encouraged us to get a physical Bible and bring the physical Bible to church instead of relying on your phone.
Yeah, we need to build that in our lives. As people that are, this is 3D perspective, is to give us a better perspective about not just our things and gifts and businesses, stuff that we may have, we're going to have conversation on, but we're talking about purpose,
right?
Like, it gives us a better sense that, wait a minute, if Apple made the iPhones, if Android, they done made multiple phones, Samsung have made a phone, they have made all of these specific designs of phones,
right?
And did all this, and you have a problem, you go back to them. We have to understand that if they were, the phones and the devices we use were created, we have a creator,
right?
That we are supposed to go back to. The phones.
That's true.
The phone's gonna shut down, and that Bible gonna still be there. You're right. I tell you're right. That when I'm telling you, the phone's gonna shut down. Yeah. If you ain't got no physical Bible, like, come on now. We are fearfully. Bible tells us that fearfully and wonderfully made. That we have been created and designed with something significant inside of our life.
Right.
I think that's key.
That is very key.
Here's something I want you to get. God never told us to measure our purpose by our position. He never told us to measure our purpose based on our position in life.
That's good.
He told us, like, hold up. He made us, and the way we measure our purpose is according to him. Like, if our phone, I go back to the phone thing, but if your phone start glitching, how would you know there's something wrong with that? Because you're measuring the usage of your phone based on what you've known or what you've seen and how the manufacturer have told us this is supposed to work. And if it does the opposite of that, it's a dangerous thing.
Yeah.
Told you I got bars. I'm telling you.
You do. You do.
I seen a comment. I ignored it, but it said I need to stay in my lane.
Oh,
I am in my lane.
Shots. You need sound effects for the next one.
I am. I'm gonna have them sitting right here.
Boom.
I'm gonna have them sitting right here. We didn't want that on the screen, but it's okay. We'll leave it up there. I was just, but I love it though. This is just a good thing. You know, we got to understand. So here's another question: am I letting my current environment define my eternal identity? Am I letting my current environment define my internal and eternal identity? Not external, eternal, forever identity. Because God designed us, and this identity He made us is from eternity.
It's a good one.
I think that's really important. You know, we got to start wrapping our mind around this. Here's another focus, and I think this is gonna be a good conversation right here. Mm-hmm. It's gonna get real good here. Here it is. So we talked about it, but I think this is important. The lies we believe about our identity. Because that question was to open up the door to the questions, the lies we believe about our identity. Can I read a couple lies? I'm not good enough. How many times you heard that in your life? Not necessarily from your parents or nothing, but you've heard that.
No, like I was saying in the beginning, that self-doubt.
Yeah. That's real.
That's real.
That self-doubt is like completely real.
So real.
I made too many mistakes. I made too many of them.
We're human. But still.
Yep.
You expect to make mistakes. You grow from them, though.
Yeah. Say that again.
You grow from your mistakes.
You do. You grow from them.
You got to.
Here's another one. This is for people that feel like your past has really bogged down, like pulled you down. It's too late for me. I'm too far gone. I'm either too old or I done did too much. God don't like me. Like, it's too late for me. And I can't turn back. I've been out here too long. I've been doing this thing for 30 years. I've been doing me for a while. It's just this is what we're seeing. Yeah. I have another one. I have nothing special. I've heard that. I don't have nothing special. I don't have nothing to offer. What can I do? I don't have nothing to offer. These are lies that we believe about who we are. We believe about our identity. And this is becoming a big thing, that these lies we are living is not from God. God didn't design us to live a lie. Right. He never designed us to do that, but we continue to live a lie because we want that lie to be our truth.
Where, I mean, people don't realize they're so unique in so many ways. Sometimes you just need someone with you, like, just to kind of help bring that out, though. Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't just come out. You don't realize you're good at something until there's a certain situation that pulls that out of you. Yeah. And then that light bulb goes off.
Yeah, that's true. That's creative partnerships. You need good partners that are graced to help you, because all in the kingdom, one of the greatest currencies is relationship. Right. So relationship is important to our walk and where we are. But that's the thing, that a lot of people are suffering from moving on and living in purpose because they have been hurt. Right. And they feel like they can do this by themselves. There are seasons of isolation, but not all seasons are meant for isolation. True. There are times where you need to heal, and you need to find, and you need to have connection with God, and you need to understand who you are in Him. But then there's points that you got to move and move on that. But that's a lie, because I mean, like when I say a lie, I'm talking about like that's a lie. The enemy tells us that we have to be by ourselves, or we never going to have good relationships or great connections. But this is just a season where we are going to start finding healing,
Mm-hmm.
in these areas. Like this is a mental health awareness month. We
Yeah.
need to, because we need to learn to heal from the lie.
Yeah, for sure.
We need to learn to do that. Lies are the enemy's strategy to keep you locked out of your assignment. They are the enemy's strategy.
Yeah.
I told you I'm telling you, I don't care what nobody say. I've learned to embrace my lane.
Yeah. You have to.
Yeah. I'm talking about rapping.
Oh no.
No.
Okay.
Talking about rapping. See, yeah. See, you was being prophetic. You said, I have to. I was embracing that part of me. Telling you. But we continue to live these lies. That's the strategy the enemy uses to keep us pulled away from who we really are.
Yeah.
Here's a declaration I want us all to say. I want you to say this while you're here, okay? I am not what I've been through. I am not what they said. I am who God says I am. That's a powerful statement.
That is.
Can I say it again? I want to say it again for you. I am not what I've been through. I am not what they said. I am who God says I am. That's something that we got to have in our heart. We have to really have it in our heart that we are who God says we are. We're not our issues. We're not what they say, but we are who God says we are.
I like that.
And we'll start to see greater things happen in our life. That's something that we got to really start to really change when it comes to the way we are and the way we've been moving. Like freedom is attached to knowing who we are and who God says we are. Like the liberty that we desire, because the truth is this world does not desire things of God. They want us to be, they call it, I know you've probably seen a lot of it on TikTok but we in a matrix.
Yeah.
Or
the universe.
Yeah, the universe. They want us to be in a system. But when you come into to your identity, you break systems like that.
Yep.
You are a disruptor. When you embrace your purpose, you are a disruptor. You change the game. You don't conform to the patterns, what Bible tells us, to this world. We renew our mind. Be transformed by the renewing of our mind. Meaning to conform is to shape your life like this world, but to transform is to change not only your direction, not only, what you've been, your identity, but is to change who you are completely. It is a metamorphosis.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's like moving from a caterpillar to a butterfly. And this is what he is desiring for us to do. He wants our lives to change. But it starts with us coming out of believing these lies. I used to believe lies.
Me too.
Yeah. They could be
like everybody that's watching this.
Yeah. They could be so real. And they could be so real. Like you could really feel like it's like my kids, they grew up knowing that there ain't no Santa Claus.
Okay.
I grew up believing it was one.
Right, me too.
Yeah, until one day. So one day I ran down upstairs hoping them presents. None of them true. I was like, oh, I know somebody lying. You believe a lie and it becomes so. Here's the thing. Can I tell you, I'm going to drop something on some of us in here. We know it's a lie and we still try to
cover it up.
Imagine that lie is still true. Wearing Santa Claus hats. Knowing I'm just saying that's just
as an example.
Yeah, as an example. This is how easy it is that we desire that lie become true.
Right. Oof.
That's crazy.
Put it like that, yeah.
That's crazy.
It's true.
And so we got to believe who God says that we are. So I want us for the next few minutes just to take this, and I want us to wrap this whole conversation tonight. And I hope y'all are being blessed by this. I hope y'all are receiving something by this, and that y'all are really get something out of this. I want to read some comments in here. I want to read some comments in here. Oh, I see that somebody says, "Wow, I've been quoting that scripture for 2 days now." Yes, Fantasia. Yes. When you embrace your purpose, you are a disruptor.
Mhm.
We change the game. We change the game. This is what we do. We change the game. I am who God says I am. So I think I want us to take some time to wrap this thought up as we really come to the conclusion. Is I want to build on this last point here. And, because we've been living in these lies for so long, I think it's that we need to have a new perspective.
Yes.
Right. This is our last point. All right. We need to have a new perspective. If we're going to live in purpose, we got to have a new perspective about it. So I want to really jump in this statement here. You can't walk in your purpose if you're still seeing yourself through the wrong lens. If you're going to live in purpose, we need a new perspective. But a part of that is that you got to understand that if you want to walk in purpose, you can't look at purpose in life from the wrong lens.
I like that. It's a good one.
Because obviously we've been living like this for so long. Some of us still are struggling trying to find that way. Is because you're still looking from the wrong lens. Your perspective is off. Jeez.
Dang, that's good.
I'm telling you.
That's good.
And I think that's a big piece, when it comes to that. Can you let's talk about you for a second. I'm put you in the hot seat.
Put me in the hot seat.
I mean, you are advancing, you're doing so many different things. But have that ever been a point in your life you've been looking from the wrong lens?
It's kind of hard for me because I always knew, and this is completely truthful, I've always knew that I was destined for greater things. I always look at ways to evolve. And I never really keep myself at a plateau. And I've been like that since when I was in college. In high school, not so much, but when I got to college, it's like that frontal lobe just developed even more. And I was like, okay, this is not going to be my last stop, So, as I said before, how I just advanced from one thing to another, to another, to another. And I feel like that's why people that's around me, they grow as well, because, I don't put limits on where I am, So I feel like I've always looked with the right lens.
Yeah,
I have. And I will continue to look with the right lens. But I will say this, as my relationship with God developed even more and even more, it's like the clarity came, the best of its ability, the best that it's been, So that's how I know I'm going to be all right.
So it's possible to look in the right direction, but not still see it fully, clearly.
Yeah. Yes.
It's because as you're driving, there are things that even though you're going in the right direction, you can still be blinded by. But the stronger your relationship got, the more clarity you got.
Right.
So the more the things that you couldn't see are starting to become more visible, more noticeable.
Right.
And that's just how it is, because God's whole perspective is, when we get into the kingdom, he's about changing our viewpoint, our perspective, shifting our lens. So we don't look at life from based on what we have and what we don't have, but we start to view it based on how he has made and designed us. So having a new perspective is allowing us to see it from the right angle, the right way.
And how I can help other people. Because I feel like early on, it was more, being self-centered. How is this going to benefit me?
Mm-hmm.
And as my relationship with God grew stronger, it was like, how is this going to help other people?
Right.
So, yeah.
Exactly. So, you move from self-centered to being selfless. Okay, that's good. And this is why it's so important, because before God often moves he first has to change our lens, and he first alters those lens so we can start moving from that right perspective.
Right.
And I think that's a very, very powerful thing. Here's a quote I got. Purpose isn't just about what you have. It's about how you see what you have. It's not about what you have. It's how you see what you have. It's about realizing like that cup is it's not half empty, it's half full.
Right. Right.
It's learning to change and see it from the right angle. And a lot of us, we talk about mental health awareness, we've been looking at our life from the wrong lens, from our past trauma, from rejection, from comparison, fear, anxiety. We've been looking at it from the wrong lens, and this is just a season where we have to start looking at it from the right lens.
Right.
And here is something that blessed my heart this morning as I was prepping for tonight. I was just thinking about it. But purpose is the gate. Your perspective is the gatekeeper to purpose. So how you see life is the gatekeeper to you really living the way you are designed to live. Because you can continue to see the life from the wrong lens.
Oh, for sure.
It's like I know we talked about Matrix, but one of my favorite movies is The Matrix. Actually, I'm just
okay. I never seen
it. Yeah, you never seen it. It's okay. See, it's all right. It's all right.
I know what you're talking about, but I never seen it though.
You got some homework to do. No,
I ain't watching. With Halle Berry, right?
That was number 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I told you I ain't seen it.
Yeah, but at number 1, when they were trying to figure out who's the one, the savior, right? And Neo comes on the scene, and it starts off with Neo, and some things happen, and then Neo been having these dreams, and they were speaking to Neo and things like that, trying to reveal to him that he's the one that's supposed to break the whole matrix, the whole system. And in the beginning part, Morpheus is sitting in a seat, and he's talking to Neo, and he's having this discussion about what he thought the world was. Neo was not the right world. The world was actually fake. And he presented to him 2 pills. You take the blue pill, you go back to things as normal. You take the red pill, your eyes are going to be open. So he has to make this decision about, do I see my life? Do I continue to live from the wrong lens by living this false life? Or am I going to adjust my lens so I can start now seeing life the way it was intended and who I'm supposed to be?
Okay.
So that is when I bring it up to say that if he did not change his perspective or be willing to be open to changing his perspective, he would have missed his real purpose. And that's just the conversation tonight. It's the hope that you listening to this and encouraging you that some of us, we just need to change our perspective.
That's the big thing.
You've been asking for the answer. You've been trying to figure out what to do. You've been doing all of these things, but here's your answer tonight. Perspective. You just got to change your perspective. This is why we don't want you just to see from a 2 dimension. We want you to see it from a 3, at least a 3. Because when you can see it from a 3D perspective, you'll be able to have a better perspective about who you are and what you're meant to do.
Right.
Think so?
I think so. I know so.
Say that again.
I know so.
You know so. That's a word. You know so.
You ain't the only one with bars, nah.
Oh.
Mixtape coming soon.
Your mixtape. Jesus. Yeah, your mixtape coming soon. Oh my goodness, your mixtape coming soon. So I want to read a comment on here. How can someone begin to change their perspective? The way you start to change your perspective, it begins with embracing the reality that how we see and how we're meant to see comes from God. So starting with viewing how God sees you. Now, I know that sounds real simple, but we don't take time to really see that. Me and my wife are the first voices in our children's life. Okay. My daughter knew that she was a girl, not because she came out the womb knowing she was a girl. Right. She came out the womb not knowing who she was, and we identified her and helped her understand who she was. Right. That's exactly what it is. We're trying to find everyone else to define us, but it begins with us embracing the reality that our identity begins with Him. We have to change our perspective. That's what the perspective starts to shift. But also we have to allow, as that perspective start changing, and as we start to like really spend time identifying ourselves through Scripture, learning what God says concerning who we are, because He tells us, look up scriptures concerning what, identity and things like that. As you start to do that, the next step is that you have to learn to not live in those lies anymore. Your trauma happened to you, but trauma does not define you. No. And those pains in your past doesn't define you. And so as you start to embrace your identity when it comes to God, you have to start to shift your perspective as it relates to the life you've been living, the way you've been living, the lies some of us have been living. It's not always easy because we are creatures of habit. Right. I said that right. And we used to doing things a certain way for so long that we start believing that it's a lie. I mean, that you step on a crack, you break your mama's back. I promise you, I didn't step on a crack for a while because I thought if I stepped on it, her back was gonna break. If I got mad, that was the time I wanted to step on the crack. Realized it didn't work because we live those lies. Right. And that's those. And so we have to start to shift our perspective. Renewing our mind comes with it's a daily intentional thing. It's not just a one moment. Okay, I'm gonna believe this for one day. It's a repetition. The same habit we've been doing and living for years. We have to undo it by living the different life that God intended for us to have. So
that's great.
I hope that helped. Yeah. I pray it helped. But stay tuned, because the more we talk and more have conversations, the more we're going to help individuals come out of that to bring them into the reality of who they really are. Because we want your life to understand. We want you to understand that your life is meant to be more. And that's what 3D is about.
It is.
3D perspective. The first perspective is discovering your purpose. Yeah. That's the first one. And so out of that, we start moving into that. Knowing your identity comes out of agreement with the lies. Shift your perspective, renew your minds, believe what God says about you. Yes, to know it, you got to come out of that agreement with the lie. You can't continue to believe the lie. Right. You're not insignificant. That's a word. You're not insignificant. You're not useless. You're not too old.
Nope, never.
To fulfill what God has destined for you, you're not too old. You are meant to still fulfill so much in this world. Here's some things. I even wrote this down. If Moses saw himself as slow speech, if Moses saw himself that way, and that was his only perspective, he would have never told Pharaoh or let my people go, or led the people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. Because God is not looking at the lack that we say we have. God looks at the gift and the grace that's on our lives, so we can fulfill it. If God can still use them, God can still use David, Gideon. The Gideon, if you ever read that story, Gideon was a doubter.
Okay.
Okay. I'll give you a homework, Judges 6 and 7.
Okay.
Read those two Judges chapter 6 and Judges chapter 7. You'll learn something about that. Gideon was he was in the wine press. and the angel of the Lord appears to him and says, call him a mighty warrior. So the angel tell him, hey, you're a mighty warrior, but Gideon's scared, he afraid. God telling him, hey, I'm gonna deliver my people through you. He like, if this is you, I'm gonna put a blanket out on the ground, and I want in the morning when the dew comes on the grass in the morning, make sure that blanket don't get wet. And angel, when it happened, the next day the blanket wasn't wet, the grass was wet. Okay, he said, I'm gonna try it again. This time, make sure the blanket is wet, but not the grass. And the blanket was wet. So he's a doubter. He was doubter. Wow. He's a doubter, but God still used his life. And the way God used his life started with him changing his perspective. That's good. So I say all that to say is that this is what our goal is, to help all of you change your perspective. Yes. That's what we want to do. This is why the podcast even started. This is our goal, is to help you, to help better you. Because again, we our goal is to make sure that you identify yourself the way God identifies you. And this is what our goal, because you're not lost. No. You still got value. People got value. And we can still live the way God intended. So amen. So I hope tonight was good. Yes, that was. It was good. I enjoyed it. You enjoyed it. It was funny too. I think that this season of our lives, our perspective is changing. I've been doing ministry and doing different stuff in life for some time, but I still have to evolve my perspective. Yeah. And so my hope is that as I evolve, you evolve, we all evolve. Yes. It's our goal. And so if y'all enjoyed tonight, let us know that you enjoyed. Put in the comments that you enjoyed it. You enjoyed it tonight. We enjoyed talking. We hope that you learned something, received something, was empowered, encouraged. And we look forward to some other stuff. Yeah. This is just episode number 2. Number 2, we got other things that we talked about doing, and so we are excited about it. I just want to definitely just encourage you all to follow us. Follow my 2 pages. Follow Miss Aaliyah Lane, her page. We're gonna really start putting more things together, and I think this is going to really push us. And so, I'm reading some comments. I enjoyed it. The word and humor was amazing. Amen. It was good. It's funny. Thanks for the empowerment. I enjoyed. Love y'all. So this is what our goal is. We just want we don't want it to all just be stuck up. We wanted to have some laughter too. Exactly. We got jokes for days, but I wasn't joking about the rapping part. But but I'm telling you, them bars, I'm gonna have my mixtape. No. Hey, whatever floats your boat. Well, okay. All right. I bet some people buy it too. But yeah, that's our goal, is to, just to help each and every one of you. And so our goal is, again, we're going to have some live interviews. Hopefully we're going to have not a live interview, live podcast. And then we're going to have live interviews. Yeah. We're going to invite people in, have discussion with multiple different people. Yeah. But our goal is to make sure that you know what the 3D Perspective podcast is about, and we just look forward to other things that are coming. And so we appreciate every single one of you, really and we hope that you will continue to be impacted by what we do in this. And so stay encouraged, stay focused, keep the right perspective. And we'll definitely see you on the next one. Don't forget, our schedule is every other week, and so we just put it on market calendar. We be back every other week. And but listen, if you guys continue to want to pull on us, you never know what will come out. But other than that, until next time,
See
Peace
ya.
out.
Bye.
Peace and blessings.